Hey everybody, it's Christy at Hooks and Horseshoes. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it as always. I hope that everyone is having a beautiful day. I hope that life is treating you well. Today I want to kind of go over a recently finished project that I have completed and that has been kind of in the works for several months, although I've had the yarn for longer than that. It is a Christmas themed, well, it's more Christmas colors project. It's a blanket that I made. A few years ago, I bought some of the Red Heart Super Saver in the jump size jumbo mistletoe color. And it has 482 yards per skein, and I bought 11 of them off someone that was selling them on Facebook Marketplace. And I think, yeah, like 11 skeins. So I had 11 skeins of this yarn, which is, I think, right close to 5,000 yards total. And, you know, I'm the type of person that when I have that much of the same yarn, I'd like to use it in one big project unless I know exactly, you know, like what multiple projects I would use it in. And so I started searching for something that I wanted to use this yarn in. I first came across Creative Grandma back in November. She was doing the, I wrote it down. Hold on just a second. Let me get my, I want to have my little background screen going. All right, so back in November, Creative Grandma was doing the, or she has a video for it. It's called the Blooming Flower Blanket. It's a premiere pattern. I'm not sure who the creator or designer is. I can put that down in the description box. You know, if you're interested in that, which I will. I'll link it to in the description box. And so I started that. I started that pattern and I got probably over a skein into it. I think I was into my second skein of yarn and my numbers got off, the count got off. And I had questions about the pattern and I probably put some questions. I think I reached out on that particular video because she did a tutorial on it. And I think I asked some questions, but I don't know that they ever got answered, which is fine. I mean, she's a busy lady and there's probably hundreds of comments that she gets a day. So anyway, I frogged that, which I will put a picture of what I started or a picture of it, of what I remember taking. It probably wasn't the end product where I frogged from, but anyway, I'll put that here of the Blooming Flower Blanket. And like I said, I frogged it because the count got off. I couldn't figure out, or I just didn't take the time to figure out why the count got off. So then I went back to the drawing board and I started looking again. And I said, well, you know, I've done this pattern before and maybe this will work. So I started, it's called Mama Mo of Change. And I will add a picture of the one that I've done here, which I have shared that blanket before, which I still have. So this is where I did it before. And then, so I thought, well, I've done it before, it should be easy. And it's called the Mama Mo of Change by Frank O'Randall. And I started it, and I think I got over maybe 3 or 4 skeins into this blanket. And a picture of just before I started frogging it is going to be right here. And I frogged it because I was like, well, obviously you're seeing the yarn now, but if you know this mistletoe, it's the kind of yarn it is and the way the colors go. With that Mama Mo of Change, you couldn't see the pattern. You couldn't, and I think the purpose of the Mama Mo of Change is to see all those different stitches. And because of this yarn, the way it is, you can't really, it doesn't show those details. And so that kind of frustrated me. So I frogged it. And so I had like 3 or 4 balls of big old, you know, because I rolled mine back up into a ball. And so I had those, I put them in a bag and I said, okay, what am I going to do now? So I went back to the drawing board again for the 3rd time. And I found the Ridged Round Ripple Blanket by Hooked on Robin. And I've done blankets like this before. I think the only difference in this particular pattern is just the front post double crochet that you do, because I've done patterns like this before with the with the ripple, I think is what I'm talking about. The Ridged Round Ripple Blanket is what it's called, and this is what I ended up with. This blanket is huge. It's probably 8 feet across. I've got a chair here I was going to stand up in, because it's going to take that to even get, there's no way you're going to be able to see the whole thing on camera. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I might have to go outside and see if I can get a picture of it. But this, it's heavy. But this is the start. This is the, I think this is the center. But this is the center of it. It's you know, obviously you start in the center and work your way out. Let me see. Oh. But y'all, this thing is so big. I mean, you're not, and see, with the way the stitches are, or just the way the yarn is, you can't really see any kind of definition. But it's got, I think, 12 points on it. And I'll insert a picture too. It's the picture that you're going to see is of this blanket laying on my living room floor, and you obviously can't see the size, the dimensions, just because the picture, it's just not going to show it. But y'all, this thing, I'm 5'5". Well, I'm standing on a chair right now, but y'all, it goes on and on and on. Let me see if I can get down without breaking a leg. That, I don't know if that was my, it's hard to show this, something like this, with the size that it is. But these are the, so let me get to the center. Let me find the center, y'all. Okay, here's the center. All right. This is a lot of work on my arms, but this is the center right here. This is where I start, and you do so many rounds, and then this is the front post. Can you see the little ridges? I like that. I like how it turned out. It's hard to see because of the type of yarn and the way the colors blend in together. But what I did is, so I did, you do 1 row of the front post double crochet, and then you do 2 rows of just regular, and then you do another row of the front post double crochet, 2 rows, and then 1 row, and then 2 rows. And you can do the ridges, the front post double crochet, as often or as little as you like. And so what I did is I did the 3 rows, as you can see here, and then I went 24. Then I went 24 rows. Let me see. Oh, this thing is so heavy. It's heavy. Let me see. I don't know if you can see that, but so this is the ridge here, ridge here, and then I went 24 rows before I did another set of them. And then the goal was, I think I was able to go another 24 rows, but I only had enough yarn to do, I finished off with just a front post double crochet round. And that's how I finished the blanket. So it's got 2 sets of 3 of the front post double crochet, and then 1 that ends the round, or ends the blanket in a front post double crochet. And so that was 10 skeins. Did I tell you in the beginning? See, I can't even remember. I bought 11. I had 11 of these, yeah. So I did 10. I used up 10 skeins. This is 10 skeins of the Mistletoe Super Saver Jumbo, which is I think 4,700 something yards. And with the last skein, I made what I guess you can call popcorn garland. But yeah, y'all, this thing is, oh, it's so big. And you can't even really, but like I said, I'll insert a picture so you can see. It's laying flat on my floor in my living room, and it takes up a good portion of my living room floor. But with the last skein, I did what I call popcorn garland, or popcorn stitch garland, and then this is that. So I was able to make, I think it's 4 strands total. Let me see. So yeah, I thought it would be pretty to have, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So there's 4 strands here. Oh, 4 strands of the popcorn stitch garland. And I thought this would be pretty to hang around the tree. And what I have left over, I could always just had a stitch marker in there. You can use this just decoration around the house. So that's what the last skein was used for. I knew I wasn't gonna, I knew another skein wouldn't get me 2 more sets of the front post double crochet ridge. So I just stopped on that last row, and I used up the last skein, which I had a little bit left from that 10th skein. I think it's still in there. It's gonna be just a scrap. I thought I might make a butterfly or something out of it, but it was a process. This blanket, or this yarn, was a process. Yeah, so the blanket was a process, or the yarn was a process. And let me tell you, this yarn, which I don't know if you can see, I don't know if you can see the difference in how, you're not gonna be able to see. It's more of a feel. But this yarn has not been washed. This particular one has not been washed. This is some rough yarn, y'all. Like, it was rough, which I think Red Heart Super Saver yarn is rough in general, most of it. Well, the regular. I know you've got the soft stuff and the different types of Red Heart, and they're not as rough. But this yarn is on the rougher side. I was trying to find, yeah. It's rough yarn. I've always thought it was rough. But I will say, as soon as you wash it, it's nice. Very, very nice. This blanket has been washed, and ain't this cute, y'all? I just think it's so cute. And it was easy to make. I mean, something mindless just to sit and make and work on, to, you know. And then the thing is you can do that kind of, those garland for any yarn for, like, I've made some for my son, and we hung it from his door. So it's kind of like a curtain. You go into his room. Eventually the weight of the yarn, though, makes it so it started dragging the ground, but we still have some of it hanging in his room. But it's, you know, you can do that for decorations, or for, like I said, doors, anything really. But this yarn has been washed, and it is so much softer than it was before it got washed. And that's one thing I've always noticed about Red Heart, is it's rough, but then you wash it and it's nice. I like it. I wouldn't want to wear it not washed. So yeah, I was happy with how this turned out. I do like the look of the original one that Creative Grandma was doing. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, the blooming flower blanket, I may eventually go back to that and give it another try. And like I said, the Mo of Change by Frank O'Randall, I've done it before and it was doing fine, but then you just couldn't see the stitches. And I'm like, what's the point in using up all this yarn if I can't see the stitches of the blanket? So then I just went with this, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, it's huge. There we go. There's the center of it. It took a while. Of course, with me having to frog it back twice, but I started with this yarn in November and I finished it up in February. So yeah, that's all I got to share with y'all today, but thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It would make me so happy. And I hope again that everybody's having a wonderful day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.